Death Note Killer Within is one of the best social deduction games out there, and I bet you never even heard about it. In my experience, it's been the most engaging and fun social deduction I've played to date. If you're a fan of Death Note or social deduction games, you've probably already seen or heard about it. The game itself is Death Note Killer Within, and it's had multiple updates to the game, but I'm going to be talking about the original game on release. The original game was released all the way back in November 2024, and since then there's been a lot of stuff added. However, the main game consisted of two teams, Team L and Team Kira. Team L would consist of 7 investigators and 1 Big L, while Team Kira would consist of 1 Kira with the Death Note and 1 Kira follower. Despite there being 2 teams, the fight would be between just Kira and L. L will attempt to arrest Kira with a Death Note, while Kira will attempt to kill L at any point of the game. If either side is caught, then the game ends. To do so, the game will consist of 2 phases, the active phase and the meeting phase. Kira will control the active phase while L will control the meeting phase. During the active phase, investigators will do their tasks and L is vulnerable. If L is killed at any point during the active phase, Kira wins. Doing a task, Team L will give progress to the investigation as well as give testimony on Kira's activity throughout the match. Soon after, the active phase will end because it has a time limit. And after an active phase, the meeting phase will concur. L will be able to ask questions and guide the meeting anonymously. In collecting the information between the meeting and the active phase, you'll have to decide on who you can trust and choose the outcome of the meeting to catch Kira. During the active phase, Kira will be able to make a move, whether it's talking to your follower, using the Death Note, or stealing IDs. To use the Death Note, however, you can either kill a random criminal, which will be one of these green NPCs, or a player, which will require you to steal their ID. Once you have a player's ID, you can use it in the Death Note and control how they die. Want someone to die in the spot? Kill them with a heart attack. Want them to die from vehicular manslaughter? You can do that. Want them to shoot themselves? Just remember, killing L is your primary goal. Killing random players on the map is just a way to get L to respond and give himself away. Less players who could be L. Also, you can only kill 2 players per match by default, so you can't just go around killing the entire lobby in one round. But to compensate, there is no kill cooldown. Go crazy with it if you have to, and if you think that L is onto you, you can swap the book with your follower. They'll receive the Death Note as a second Kira and be able to function exactly how you did. If you remove all evidence on yourself such as IDs or the Death Note, L will not be able to arrest you as part of Team Kira, and you'll be forced to continue in the match. You will, however, be chained up to the player selected to arrest you, so you won't be able to function much during the active phase unless you get freed. Also, if L chooses the Kira follower to arrest Kira with the Death Note, the Kira follower won't snitch, allowing you to clear Kira and have a chance to regain L's trust. Now that Kira and L are explained as the 2 top roles in the game, which one is more important? The normal investigators. Okay, so the normal investigators are the most important roles in this game, and they are essential for either side to win. The more investigators, the more suspects for both L and Kira to account for. Both of those roles depend on hiding amongst the masses and are trying to catch each other first, so whoever is better at deducing wins. As an investigator, you are actually on Team L's task force. Your best interest is to catch Kira and prove your innocence to L. Sadly though, getting evidence on Kira will require some casualties. So, we all know that Kira owns Death Note and can kill whoever he seems fit. But if Kira is the all-powerful, is L just as weak as the other investigators? Well, yes, sort of, but it matters how you play him. L will have multiple abilities that will give you more information than the other investigators. You'll be able to assign joint tasks to make 2 players watch over each other throughout the match. Cameras to notify you when someone has entered a room, and you can always, potentially catch Kira on the cameras. And you'll have command cards that will interact uniquely with the game, like the Vindicating Evidence, allowing an investigator to permanently reveal their role to everyone in the lobby. Or command cards that hide criminals' names to Kira. Or even using Linda L. Taylor from the anime. And he's a decoy, and he even looks like a finger puppet in the game. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that, you play as these ugly little finger puppets. You know, the ones that Nia plays with in the second half of the anime? Unless, of course, you spend some money. Then you get really good looking chibi models of most of the characters from the show. But I don't really mind games with microtransactions as long as it's purely cosmetic. Imagine if this game was owned by like a greedy company and you had to pay to use the cameras or the Death Note. Anyway, as L, you'll have more information to go off of, while investigators will share information that you wouldn't have been able to catch otherwise. So it's really based on the social aspect of social deduction. So L will be able to guide meetings and ask questions anonymously. Doing so will let you gather information you need to arrest Kira. Because L guides the meetings, you get to choose who you want to arrest. And the game relies on 2 sides. Kira being active and L being reactive to Kira's activity. If Kira doesn't do anything, L shouldn't do anything. There's no murder if no one kills anyone. And to penalize Kira for not doing anything, Team L will gain progress for just doing their task. If Kira doesn't interfere in any way, Team L will just solve the investigation just through pure progress alone. Team Kira, however, also has their own win condition. To gain progress as Team Kira, you'll have to kill players or criminals to increase your progress bar, as well as you can set up sabotages through your own set of command cards. If Team L doesn't respond to any of your sabotages, you'll boost past the investigation and become the god of the new world in no time. If Team L has more progress, then Team Kira will be forced to be more active. If Kira has more progress, then Team L will be forced to fix the sabotages which leave them defenseless. If Team L ignores Kira's command cards, Kira won't have to do anything, leaving no evidence and win through new world progress. And if Team L does do the sabotages, Kira will be able to get away with a lot more activity while they do so. It follows the same rules as the anime, as Kira and L will be pushing each other to make a move, and whoever makes the first mistake loses the battle. There's a couple of things that Killer Within added, and I prefer them over other social deduction games. And one of those features is inbuilt voice chat. Now, Killer Within has proximity voice chat by default, and I know a ton of games have been overusing proxy chat, but I feel like most social deduction games would benefit from having a voice chat, at least during the meetings. And if you don't like it, you can always disable it when you're hosting a lobby. Speaking of voice chat, Kira and the Kira follower will have a private transceiver, allowing you to communicate to your teammate wherever and whenever. I'm honestly surprised that most games don't even let you do this. When communication is vital between the killers to coordinate and plan accordingly, I can only imagine how useful it would be if imposters had a private chat in Among Us. Death Note also includes more than just a good guy versus bad guy. On the game's release, they had a default of 4 different roles, and with every update, there's a ton more. Getting the role you want is a 1 out of 10 chance of happening. So what Death Note does with all their different types of roles is they incorporated a role select feature. It basically lets you have a priority system for the specific role you want. It does, however, have its issues, as you'll always have that one guy who selects Kira and Mello in a match. But it's a great start on how role select should be, if only there was a random option. I also love how in Death Note, it's 2 people hiding amongst the masses, and whoever catches who first wins. It's not just 2 people versus everyone else. And as selfish as the playstyles will be between both sides, I actually really enjoy the gameplay loop. And I wonder what all your favorite social deduction games are. Let me know in the comments. A huge problem that I see Death Note Killer Within having is that it's so complex and confusing for new players. But like, come on guys, we're dealing with a Death Note. And because we're dealing with a Death Note, as an investigator, you'll have to be paying attention to testimonies, who got close to you, dying messages, criminals dying, Death Note passes, and the time of death. Now, Kira doesn't have to be near a person to kill them, and he can send them to anywhere on the map. So Kira has a huge kill advantage compared to other games. And not only that, members of Team Kira cannot be arrested unless they have contraband on themselves. There are so many complicated mechanics that give the game so many unique interactions, and most of them don't even include the special roles. An example being the Vindicating Evidence card spawns a collaborator that can be killed by Kira, preventing a role to be revealed. I also mentioned Linda L. Taylor earlier in the video, but if Kira refuses to kill him, Team L gains 10 progress. That literally lets L win a day early. And not only that, when the decoy is active, it protects players from Kira using the notebook. So as Kira, you have to judge the decoy or do nothing during the time period. Team Kira's command cards also pause the timer, while L's doesn't pause it. Team L can literally forcefully use a command card in the last 20 seconds of the day to stop Kira from using their own command cards, and that prevents them from gaining progress until the end of the day. There's interactions like how L can't move when using the cameras, so whoever is standing still when a camera is on could be L, while moving players cannot. And then when the addition of roles to the game, the interactions got even more complicated, especially with X-Kira and Mello. So let's talk about the roles, shall we? Like my other videos, I have more in-depth details on specific roles, but we're just going to give a quick debrief on all the roles here. As I mentioned earlier, Mello, his role functions as a third party. He's a neutral role with one goal: kill Kira. Mello will be able to kill one person a day, and if he's arrested at any point during the match, he'll be removed entirely. His entire existence threatens both Kira and L, because Mello's goal is to beat L in the Kira case. He's not working with the investigation, and he's not working with Kira. Mello will even refuse to reveal contraband when arresting Team Kira, just so he can shoot them the next day. It also doesn't tell you if you're arrested Kira, so Kira can lie to Mello just to stay alive. Team L has their own unique roles, Watari and MPA Chief, and Watari functions like L's right-hand man, just like the anime. He's essentially a Kira follower, but for L, allowing them to communicate through their own transceivers. The MPA Chief, however, can call an emergency meeting once in an entire match. Doing so will reveal your role as the MPA Chief, and will give you just one extra meeting to save you the game. There is also alternative roles like the Kira spokesperson, N and X Kira, who replace Kira follower, L and Kira respectively. They give alternative playstyles to the game entirely. The spokesperson, for example, relies entirely on framing other players, And if they are arrested, they are removed from the match entirely. His downside, however, is that if he is arrested at any point of the game, he is removed as well. And that's because he has the kingdom cards on himself. Another example, N, who doesn't have access to vindicating evidence, has no one to trust at any point of the game. So instead he's giving a tracking device that you use on players, or the Money Chaos command card which hides players' identities from each other. There's also Exgear, whose entire gimmick is to convert another player during the meeting phase. He even allows you to convert roles that were previously 100% innocent, like the Vindicated player, or the MPA Chief. These roles completely change the game and add so many different levels of complexity. But are they good? Well, I make other separate videos on that, so if you want to see those, they're on my channel. It has been a full year now since the game's come out. We've had a ton of different updates, new announcements coming soon with the new Jump Fest event, and I'm just surprised that Death Note, one of the most known animes, made a secret social deduction game that went unnoticed. This game has a tiny community, surprisingly, and with the amount of support this game gets, it makes sense. And come on, it's Death Note, one of the most dangerous weapon concepts in today's society. Literally an untraceable weapon at any distance, at any time. So hopefully with this video, I will show some light on potentially one of the most fun and engaging social deduction games out there. And that's all I have to say for this game. See ya.